This is DRF, Race of the Day. Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer, the DRF Race of the Day for Friday, September the 3rd, race number 9 at the Spa. Let's throw up the field for the Lucky Coin Stakes. $120,000 is the purse. We are going 5.5 furlongs on the Mellon turf. This race is a restricted event for 4-year-olds and up, which have not won a stake in 2021. You can download free Formulator past performances for this race on the Race of the Day event page at drf.com. Access them, handicap along with us. And Mike, the last time the number 8 Maven ran in the United States, he popped a speedy 104 Beyer speed figure at Keeneland. That race likely good enough to win here.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if he runs a 104, he'll absolutely win here. He got loose on the lead that day, Dan, and maybe that won't happen here. But it's not like that's the only race he's ever run that would make him pretty tough in this spot.
He is fast, and Timeform US believes that he will be among the front runners and have a short lead over Noble Emotion after the first quarter of a mile. Noble Emotion, however, Mike, is pretty quick, and I wouldn't be surprised if Jose Ortiz decides to perhaps push Maven in the early portion of this race.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, Noble Emotion, not only is he in really good form since he's come back from the layoff this year, but he's been in good form by using his speed, and I think they'll use it here.
Let's talk a little bit about the number 1, Guildsman, a horse that certainly has some back class. He's a grade 3 winner in Kentucky Downs last year, going 6.5 furlongs. He is a true late running sprinter. He needs some pace. He was claimed by a very shrewd barn out of his most recent start, but it's worth noting that race was on June 12th. He's been listed as a vet scratch twice since.
Yeah, and those are obviously bad signs. This is a very good trainer off the claim. I just don't know how good I think Guildsman is, Dan. I mean, he does have that grade 3 win at Kentucky Downs last year. Other than that, he's sort of over since he got to the United States. I just didn't like his last race at all. I know he steadied down on the rail very early in that race, but there was some pace in front of him that day, and he did no running.
The multiple stakes place number 2, the Connector, would be running back on only 6 days rest if he competes on Friday. Let's go back to last weekend, the Rainbow Air Stakes at Monmouth over good going. He was beaten by a pretty solid horse, Belgrano. We see him on the outside, and he has a look at this, Mike, at the 3/16 pole, but we see him kind of floundering on his left lead, and he sort of clunks up for third at the end. He's a useful horse. He's run some nice races. It'll be interesting to see if we see him in the gate on Friday.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose if he does run here and he can, somehow run his best race on short rest, he's a contender in here at a price. He's got some very competitive turf sprints on his card. 4 for his last 11 on the grass dead. And the losses, when you start pulling apart his losses, I mean, they're mostly to really good horses. The Critical Way has beaten him several times. That horse just won the Parks Dash yesterday. Fire Crow was a pretty fast horse on his best day. So he's kept good company, this horse.
Trainer Horatio De Paz is having a very strong meet. He has the 3 Noble Emotion, who began his tenure with De Paz with 2 victories. Now, the race 2 starts back. He was inside speed. He did not, Jose Ortiz did not rate back. He took it to him, and he went on to win. Last time out against open non-winners of 2 other than, that's the race we'll show you right now on August the 13th. The Noble Emotion, as is his wont, is right up close to the pace. He's going to eventually get up to Shecky Shabazz on the inside. He gets a little bit tired at the end.
He does. In this race, he was just forced to chase Shecky Shabazz, who was the favorite in here. You saw those 2 horses sort of brush there in mid-stretch. This horse is pretty game. Gets his head in front late, misses the bob for a second as they both get closed down. I don't know. I'm not going to knock him, Dan. His recent form is very good. I feel like the price to have him on the morning line would be very fair if you like him again. The question is, can he deal with Maven and then hold off the closers?
Connections took a shot on dirt with Pulsate last time out. He was far from embarrassed in a solid 3 other than optional claimer. But let's go back to his turf start. And this is a good race, considering it was his first start off of a lengthy layoff, and he was facing a very hot horse at the time named Faya. He was able to sit the pocket in behind Even Money Faya, gets to the outside, and really tries hard to just miss by a head.
Yeah, that's Pulsate. He tries hard in all of his races, ranging up into third. There's Maxwell Esquire, who's also back in this spot. Dan, this pace just wasn't fast. I mean, Faya's a nice horse. He got, pretty loose on the lead here. Pulsate was content to sit behind him, couldn't catch at the end. I thought he ran well. To me, this horse always runs well, though. I'm a fan of his. I could use him in here at the right price because I do think he's going to show up and run his race. I just don't know if the 4-1 morning line is the right price.
We saw Maxwell Esquire get up for third behind Faya and Pulse in that race on the 4th of July. And I have a feeling that after that start, Christophe Clement decided to wait for Saratoga. This horse always seems to do very good work here, albeit against New York bred competitions. But I think he has a race or two, if the pace and trip work to his favor, that could certainly put him in the mix with a late kick.
Yeah, he needs pace in this race. That's his running style. They like to sit back and make one run with this horse. That obviously didn't work out in the replay we just saw where they took him back to last and they walked in front of him. All in all, I think he has races that would make him tough in here, and I do think there's a chance he catches a little pace. You already mentioned that he, has run well up at Saratoga. He actually debuted up here going long, but his 2 sprints last year, I mean, he was really good at both of them. He won one, he should have won the other, but he had a very tough trip.
The number 6, Back to His Roots, in many ways is sort of the key to this race. I thought last summer at Saratoga, he was slowly coming into his own with a victory against 2 other than optional claimers. Now, some might say that 94 Beyer speed figure is dressed up because he got a very hot pace to run into, and he was able to kick those horses down with the right race flow. He did beat a couple of next out 94 Beyer winners in that spot, and then a disaster in the Belmont Turf Sprint, bet down to 3-1, lost his jockey at the start, and something must have happened because this is a very long layoff.
Yeah, it's a long layoff for him to come back from. Terra Nova, though, he has great numbers off of long layoffs like this. So I'd be less concerned about that. He's also a new gelding for this race. He's the kind of horse, Dan, I could go either way on, and I want to see what price he winds up being in this race. He obviously has the big win up here last summer, where, as you mentioned, he got a great setup in there, a clean run into it, but he also obviously improved to win. His other turf sprints, for the most part, they're all really competitive. But he didn't win any of them. And boy, save the one race at Tampa, that turf dash. It's pretty hard to find excuses for him not to win those races. So, I don't know how good he actually is. And I just don't want a short price on him. I'll see how they bet this race.
Holiday Stone is a really cool horse. Just consider he was grade 3 placed back in 2017 as a 3-year-old, and he is still in very good form, if not close to career best form. He earned a victory at Belmont 2 starts back, where he was able to split horses and shoot right on through a very comfortable 94 Beyer win. And last time out, he caught some nice horses at Colonial. Just Might, who's as equally good on turf as on dirt, would come back to win a stake at Colonial on dirt with a 94 Beyer, and Francatelli would return to finish 3rd in the Parks Dash the other day. So Holiday Stone is a horse. Give him pace, he's going to come with a kick.
Right. He's another horse who wants a little pace in front of him. Maybe he gets it in here. I do think there's a chance that the closers get the right setup. I didn't love his last race. I know that Just Might's a good horse. This horse, to me, he was 3rd in there, but never looked like he was going to win off of a pretty good trip. And he got a great trip, 2 back when he won. But that was a race that set up the right way, Dan. They went pretty fast in front of him, and he ran.
And if Maven gets to the front, he all of a sudden not only becomes perhaps the horse to beat, but the horse to catch and beat, and that's always a dangerous double. Maven was a Group 3 winner as a 2-year-old in France, one of Wesley Ward's international excursions. He popped that big Beyer we talked about 2 starts back, and he was simply overmatched at Royal Ascot last time.
Yeah, I mean, he's got that one fast race. I mean, since he's come back as a 3- and 4-year-old, his form's not that great. He's got 2 wire-to-wire wins, both races where he just got absolutely loose. And in his other races, when he didn't make the lead, he wasn't nearly as effective. I guess that's got to be some kind of a concern for this horse, Dan. I do think he's fast enough to make the lead, however. And, if he just blasts off to the front here, he might be long gone.
Really is a fascinating race, our Friday race of the day. So many different handicapping angles, probably comes down to trip and pace. Let's take a look at our top selections. Mike, you're going with Maxwell Esquire, a horse that, like Saratoga, came up for 3rd gamely last time out for Clement. And he has several races that indicate he could beat a field like this.
Yeah, if he shows up and runs his best and gets the right setup and trip, I do think he can win this race. And I just thought he'd be a fair price then. I guess we'll see how they bet the race. I didn't really want the speed horses. He's the closer that I wanted.
I'm curious to see what we get from Back to His Roots off of the lengthy layoff as a new gelding. He was pace aided when he won, and it was a wet turf course when he won 2 starts back. But I just had a feeling maybe he was coming into his own for a very good trainer, and then the disastrous throwout race at Belmont. Curious to see what we get. Seems like a reasonable spot for a return. 6475 for me, 5684 for Mike. It's the Friday race of the day, the lucky coin at the Spa. Good luck.